my name is Tristan, and this is the first in a Getting Ready series. Today we're going to be making an English muffin sandwich and hash brown. So for ingredients, it's pretty simple. I just used the Jimmy Dean turkey sausage, the Thomas English muffins from Costco, and these Craven hash browns, which you can find pretty much anywhere, as well as some garlic chili crunch from Trader Joe's. This is our air fryer. We have the Instant Vortex Plus, but any air fryer will work. This one was the #1 recommended one from the America's Test Kitchen YouTube video, which I'll link in the description. And this is the other piece of equipment you'll need. This is the Hamilton Beach sandwich maker. And yeah, it's essentially just 2 hot plates on either side that help make the sandwich. I've tried a bunch of different ways of making these sandwiches, and this one was definitely the easiest and most convenient to use. You can see it just has 2 separate sections, one for your English muffin and sausage, and the other for another half of the English muffin and the egg to cook in. And you'll be seeing exactly how to do that in just a couple of minutes. So the first thing I do is turn on our air fryer. I set it to 15 minutes and 400 degrees. And I found this does a really good job of getting the hash brown heated up and crispy on the outside. And you don't need to wait for it to preheat. You can just grab your frozen hash brown puck from the freezer and chuck it into the air fryer just as it's preheating. And then it'll take over to 400 degrees and start cooking it. At about the 10-minute left mark of your hash brown cooking, you'll want to start getting some stuff ready for your sandwich. The first thing that you'll want to do is get the sausage patty out of the freezer, and then you're going to put it onto the turned on sandwich maker. By turn it on, you just plug it in. There's no on or off switch. It's just plugged in or not plugged in, and that's whether it's on or off. And then you'll just plop that in there and just kind of rotate it every minute and a half or so for the next 5 minutes to make sure that it is fully cooked through. When your hash brown has 5 minutes left to cook, that's when you're going to want to start getting everything else ready with your sandwich. The sandwich maker should be fully preheated at this point, and your sausage patty should be defrosted. So I've got some butter, some shredded Tillamook cheddar cheese, as well as an egg cracked into a bowl here. I found that this is the best way to scramble up the egg before putting it in the sandwich maker. If you put it in there, it's a little bit more difficult, and you can scrape up the metal plate and whatever the nonstick coating is on the sandwich maker, which you don't want any of that going into your sandwich. So this is just a much easier way to do that. I've also got the Trader Joe's garlic chili crunch. All right, so now it's time to get all of our sandwich components together. So I've taken out the preheated sausage, and I've got my cut in half English muffin. So I'll put the bottom half in the bottom of the sandwich maker, as well as the sausage patty on top of it. And then we'll drop down the middle part, grab some butter with a spatula, add that in, stir it around, which I do a very, very poor job of. I don't usually use the spatula, but it looked a lot better visually, and I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way of the camera. So once you have a good layer of butter down, that's when you can dump in your scrambled egg. So now this middle plate is hot enough, so it'll start to heat up and cook that egg. And I am also going to add in just a little bit of salt and black pepper. You can salt it to seasoning. I just put a moderate amount in there. And I put a little bit more pepper because I like it just a little bit spicier, but please do it to your own taste. The last part is you'll just add that other half of the English muffin and close the lid. All right, so I set a timer for 4.5 minutes. Now 2.5 minutes have gone by, so we have about 2 minutes left, and that's usually when the egg has fully solidified, and so I'm able to access the lower compartment again to add in the cheese. So what I'll do is I'll just take the sausage patty out And I'll grab the shredded cheese that I made beforehand and just kind of spread it evenly over the lower half of the English muffin. And then I'll add the sausage patty back in and wait for the remaining 2 minutes to expire. Our 4.5 minute timer is up now, so I'm going to take out the sandwich and finish it off. With the garlic chili crunch, you'll want to stir this up a bit. The oil tends to separate from the crunchy flakes, so I'll just give that a quick stir. And you'll slide out the middle plate. It swings out like this, and that will put your sandwich together. And then it's going to be a bit hot, but if you have asbestos fingers, you can grab it and get it out of there and onto your plate. You can use tongs if you need to. So now I'll take the Trader Joe's garlic chili crunch with a spoon, and I'll just add a little bit on there. Again, you could do this to taste. I like a little bit more than some other people might. And you can completely skip this step too if you just kind of want the traditional English muffin sandwich. But I found this adds quite a bit, and now when I go to other places that serve these type of sandwiches, I really miss having this extra spice and crunch to my sandwich. All right, so here's the finished product with our hash brown pulled out of our air fryer. And then I'm just going to add in a little bit of ketchup here for the hash brown. And you have my pretty typical breakfast. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like and subscribe.